Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. Follow us on Twitter at Boink Studios and check out our Facebook page where you can see all of our projects, past, present, and future. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and you are listening to Tom Clark's Main Event. This is episode number 46 of the podcast, and if you are joining us today for the very first time, we will bid you welcome. If you're coming back for a repeat visit, we will say, hey, thanks for checking back in with us. And to all those involved, we'll extend to you, as always, the customary laurel and a hearty handshake. Thanks for listening. Thanks for reading our stuff. And hey, thanks for always being there, Doc. Episode number 46, man. Is this fun or what? I'm talking really fast for a couple of reasons. One, I'm hopped up on coffee. Lots and lots of coffee. Gallons of coffee. I enjoy a cup of coffee. I'm just, full disclosure there for you. Number two, I don't have a lot of time here. We're quite busy in Boing Studios this afternoon, and depending upon when this sucker gets published, who knows when that's going to be. We've got a lot more stuff going on later. Things that we're working on, we're writing, we're recording podcasts. I mean, we're really trying to stay busy over here. But I've got to be honest with you, man, for the one-man show that you're listening to right now, because this is the one-man show, the one-man portion of the Boink Studios universe, the Boinkverse, as we like to call it here. I've got some stuff I want to talk about. So here we go. This is episode number 45, and this time the main event is Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker and WrestleMania buzz. How do you like that? Is that good or what? Okay, don't lie to me. It's a boring title. We're actually much better at titling the episodes on our sister podcast, Tom and Kyle's Comedy Action Hour. Perhaps you've heard of it. I really hope you have, yes? Say yes. That sucker's available on iTunes as well as Google Play. So please, as you're listening to this, go check it out. You don't have to turn off the show. Go check it out, man. And when you're done listening to this particular episode, why don't you just go on over there and subscribe and download today? It'll be fun. Trust me. It's good stuff. I would never steer you wrong, okay? Holler at your boy over here. I don't know what that means. Can you hear the wind howling? We do all we can with the tech that we have here to drown out the background noise, but occasionally it does come up. We're on the East Coast here, by the way, and we're having an insane day, man. It started out with like tornadoes and the most heinous bit of rain you've ever seen in your life. We're talking about Noah's Ark kind of rain, man. Flood watches, storm watches, tornado watches, warnings, look out, candy bar the doors, get to the root cellar as quick as you can because the F5's coming. And no, we're not talking about the Beast Brock Lesnar. Thank you very much. But you know what? We're going to push through this. That's what we do. So, I know you saw it. I know you seen it. I know you seen it. And you're talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. Hey, let's do that here too. Shane McMahon. Holy God. And you know what we're talking about, right? On the February 22nd edition of Monday Night Raw, Shane McMahon came out. Surprise return to end all surprise returns. No one saw it coming. For a change, that company managed to keep this one under wraps. They kept it hush-hush. They kept it very quiet. We're glad they did. Thank God they did. Oh, it's about time. I don't like spoilers, man. I mean, if you listen to the show, if you're regular, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't like spoilers. So I like the fact that I didn't know Shane was going to come out. I like the fact that I couldn't call that because it didn't make any sense for Shane to come out. We've been waiting for Shane to come out for like 6 years or something. It hasn't happened yet. So finally Shane comes out. He hits the ramp and he's got some interesting kicks on there. And suddenly he's, like Daryl from Run DMC. I have no idea where that came from. Have no clue. Good to see him. He looks older than his dad. If I had to venture a guess, I'd say his hair would be black next time we saw him. I'm just throwing it out there to you. And knowing Shane, he'll actually say that on the air. Yeah, I dyed my hair. Don't give me any grief over it. It was good to see him back. Yours truly had 2 pieces published by Tuesday which a lot of my contemporaries did also. As you guys know, man, we try to cover this stuff as much as possible. My comrades over at the fine Bleacher Report, and then also I published one on my own blog, which is tomcartbr.wix.com/blog. For Bleacher, my entire report was pros and cons of Shane McMahon versus Undertaker. Did you hear that? Did you miss it? Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon's only begotten son, is facing the dead man, the Reaper himself. Whether or not Shane's got to hang on a big T, I don't know. We'll see. So how are you feeling about this? Because let me just give you a few ideas that I got here churning, and you tell me what you think. Here's my pros, actually, for this. The biggest plus here is that WrestleMania, the granddaddy of them all, the big one, the big show, no pun intended, suddenly just got a lot bigger and a lot more interesting, okay? Everyone knew that Roman was going to win. Well, we didn't know, but we figured he did. I picked Roman, but as an outside shot, I picked Dean to win at Fastlane. But we know that it's going to be Roman v. Hunter at WrestleMania 32 for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That's kind of dull to a lot of people. It's a little boring to a lot of people. Well, now there's some other stuff to make you tune in, and namely this match that we're talking about right now is Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker, because Shane comes out and he gets Vince's face, and Vince suddenly has this epiphany. How dare you ruin this bogus award I was going to give my daughter in honor of my father, and you ruined it. So how about you face Undertaker? Gee, think that one was scripted? Think that one was... You think he pulled that out of a hat? I don't think so. This is, by the by, this is one of the chief complaints that I and a lot of other people have always had with that company. Nothing is spontaneous. Now, we know it's not spontaneous. We know he didn't just say that. Undertaker's sitting at home, and he does a spit take with like a Coke Zero. I don't know why I got Undertaker drinking a Coke Zero. Should it be beer? Maybe or Jack. I don't have any idea. What does Undertaker drink? If anyone knows, email it to me. I'd be glad to know that. But he does a spit take. I'm doing what now? Come again? And Michelle McCool's like, you're doing what? And like the whole thing's like, what did he say? Dude, that to me would be a great bit of comedy that I would probably think about for the rest of my days. I wish that would happen. It's not going to happen. It didn't happen. Because that company can't be spontaneous and something like that. You have to book it. You don't understand what I'm talking about, right? Come on, give me a break here. All I'm saying to you is, a lot of what they do is so predetermined. It's so obvious. It's so, anytime, well, I want him out here right now. And then 2 seconds later, his music hits and he's magically in gear, whoever the he is. And he's, guess what, ready to have a match. Come on, man. You see what I'm saying? So we already know the stuff is predetermined. We already know that it's all set up. But man, it's like they advertise it, don't they? What are you going to do? But now there's a compelling reason, as if you didn't already have one, to watch the show, to watch WrestleMania 32 on April 3rd of this year. I mean, it's going to be good. I was going to watch anyway, but now I'm really a lot more curious, I guess you could say it is. No one thought Undertaker was going to face Shane. Okay. Because, here's the step. The step, if you're in the know. If Shane wins, he gets Monday Night Raw. Oh my God. Did you hear that? If he wins, he gets Monday Night Raw. That's kind of a big deal, huh? Isn't that kind of a big deal? I think it is. So, I mean, for a change, the authority would have to kind of sidestep and maybe just take a back seat to the brother, to the heir apparent to the WWE McMahon empire, and that is your boy Shane McMahon. Now, I've heard a lot of rumors about this and speculation, innuendo being tossed around about this also, about, well, maybe Shane won't win and they'll just give him SmackDown as a consolation prize. All due respect, I got tweeted that, and I'm not trying to make fun of who tweeted me. My apologies for not mentioning the name. No disrespect, but would it be something they would do? Yeah. Is it laughable? Yeah. Because honestly, let me poll you guys really quickly out there. How many of you watch SmackDown on a regular basis? I'd say quite a few of you do. Put your hands up if you do. Okay, that's a good bit of you. Now, how many of you, if you miss it, the world's not going to come to an end? You see what I'm saying? But how many of you, if you miss Monday Night Raw, you're like, I missed Monday Night Raw? Crap! You see what I'm saying? It's kind of, you see what I mean? And it shouldn't be that way, but Raw is the flagship program, yes? I mean, we all feel that way, don't we? It's not just the company says it, that we've made it the flagship program as well. It should be. I don't know how I feel about that, man, but it is what it is. But I think that this match, oh, God, how do you predict? Is it too early to predict? I think we're too early for that, aren't we? Can you imagine Undertaker losing at Mania for the second time ever, and this time to a guy that's not a full-time professional wrestler, that's not even a part-time, that's a less than part-time, that's a less than part-time pro wrestler, that's not even a pro wrestler? I mean, really boil it down to its brass tacks and ask yourself, how much sense does it make for the dead man, the phenom, the legendary Undertaker to lose at WrestleMania? I don't understand what the idea is behind that, but there's an idea I can get behind, and that's something new on Monday Night Raw. Why? Because we've had 3 years of the Authority. Did you realize that? They took power, they assumed power storyline-wise in August of 2013. Did you know that? That's right, when the Daniel Bryan debacle came about, when his whole ride to the top and all that, the glory that came along with it. It's been 3 years and counting, man. Bryan couldn't bring him down. Cena couldn't bring him down. Roman couldn't bring him down. Sting could not bring them down. Okay? Sting himself had no effect on them. Like, they just kept going. They're like the little engine that could. And I said from day one, the same thing I said about the Shield, and I'll say it to you right now. I've written a lot of columns speculating on who could bring the Shield, hear that? Who could bring the Authority down, who should bring the Authority down. But once Sting didn't bring them down, I said, you know what, that should be it. Because, and I did write that Roman should and whatever. But here's the fact, here's the truth, and I also said this as well. The Authority's going to implode, just as the Shield did. That's how it's going to happen, because they're too big, they're too powerful, and they're too they're impenetrable, man. Their defense is up like crazy. You can't touch them. You can't even get close to them at this point, man. There's no touching them at all. I mean, they've had like bullets fired point blank in their direction. They just keep on coming, man. You see what I'm saying? You can't touch them, dude. They get right back up. They're like Jason Voorhees, man. You could shoot him square in the chest. He's going to get right back up again because the Authority's bulletproof, dude. That's the truth, man. I'm sorry for you, but that's just how it is. But if Shane McMahon wins at WrestleMania and pins the dead man, then guess what? He gets Monday Night Raw. And as his father Vince pointed out on Raw, this past Monday Night Raw, thank you very much. If Shane gets control of Raw, he's got control of the company. Boom. How you like that? I love that. Because, dude, the Authority thing has run its course. This is not about being upset with heels. This is not about wanting a babyface in charge. I don't care about any of that stuff. What I care about is a tired act. It's rehashed. I've seen it. It's recycled. I've seen it a whole bunch, dude, and I don't want to see it anymore. Do you see what I mean? It's outdated. They've done everything they could possibly do, in my opinion, with this act. I don't know what else they could do with the Authority. They've threatened, they've bullied, they've attacked, they've suspended, they've fired, they've blamed, they've moved chess pieces around, they've used people to their advantage, they've humiliated people, they've mocked people. They mocked Daniel Bryan for 6 months when he wasn't even there. And it's like, you know, enough's enough, man. I'm done with this. I want them to move on. I'm ready for the next chapter. You know, went through all the GM nonsense, and the GM nonsense led straight to the Authority nonsense. And now the Authority nonsense is going to lead straight to the Shane McMahon nonsense. Did you see how I twisted on you there? I went from, I really want this, to, you don't really want this, do you? Here's why. You might be happy about this move right now, but you won't be for long. This is where the cons part of the story comes in, just so you're aware. Shane's return is indeed exciting. It's new, it's fresh, it's funky fresh, but it is doomed to be a letdown. Why? Because Shane is a McMahon, people, and that means he's going to change allegiances whenever the mood strikes him. You can't trust his character. He will ultimately always side with his heel family. He might destroy the Authority, but he's only going to rebuild it again in his own image. He'll turn heel eventually, maybe a month into it. Dude, maybe a night after. Who knows, man? You can't trust it. And see, the problems for this go way, way back to the Austin v. McMahon era. That's when it really came about, dude. That's when all the problems came about, really. That's where the track record started. We have to have a bad guy in power. Hey, this is making money for us. Let's do more of it. So they've done it ever since. They've done it ever since, man. A heel has always been in power, dude, and it's ridiculous. redonkulous at this point. Do the kids still say that? Screw it, I'm saying it. It's ridiculous. Fine, it's ridiculous at this point, man. It really is. Like, I don't understand why. I get why. Don't misunderstand me. There's a big difference between understanding and being okay with it. I understand why. I just don't get it. Like, why? Why are we still pursuing this same storyline mode? Can't we do something different? Because that company really feels like you need somebody in charge on TV all the time to make matches. Why can't you just say, I came from the office of so-and-so and he signed off on this? Or just let the commentator announce the match. They have to create the feeling of spontaneity, which I complained about earlier. Thank you very much. But they have to create that false sense of spontaneity. And they do it so poorly that it's obvious it's all garbage, okay? And that's a down part for them, and they're not going to fix that. I'm not going to sit here and say, they need to work on that. They're not going to work on that. They're $1 billion company. They don't care what you think. They don't care what you think. You don't think they do you? They don't care. I'm not trying to be cynical. They don't care what I think either. It's perfectly fine with me, man. I'm totally fine with it, dude. I am totally fine with it. It's not a problem for me whatsoever. Okay, life moves on. The beat goes on. Whatever, any kind of other cliches you want to throw at it. I'm going to be a fan forever, man. So it doesn't matter to me. I'm always going to be a fan of the business, which means I'm always going to watch WWE. It's perfectly fine. But, you know, again, a lot of it feels forced, and it's the authority storyline. It's run its course. But dude, if you really believe right now, if you really truly believe that Shane McMahon is going to stay babyface through this whole thing, and that he's going to be the savior that Daniel Bryan should have been, he's going to be the savior that Sting should have been, dude, you are sorely mistaken. He might be for one night, and he might be for the next night on Raw when the crowd is singing "Na, hey, hey, goodbye" to Triple H and Stephanie as they tearfully leave the ring. We've seen it before. Do you remember? Do you remember? The Authority was thrown out of power thanks to Sting. Yay, Sting. And then they're back. They're back like nothing ever happened. First off, I don't buy that for a second. I think if I'm losing my breath, I can't even talk about it, man. But if you buy that for a second, you've lost your mind. And on top of that, if you truly buy that Shane McMahon is going to stay babyface, they're not going to play with this and all this other stuff, I just don't understand. I don't understand, man. I don't get that at all. You see what I'm saying? I just don't understand that one bit. What do I want it to happen? Of course I want it to happen. I want to see the Authority gone because I want something new and something fresh. This stuff's getting old. Been old for a long time. So talk to me about Undertaker versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania 32. Because from a distance, it kind of feels like that Taker's going to heel out, which he may as well have. He practically healed out against Lesnar, hit him with two different, low blows, and cost him the match and all this, that, and the other. It became painfully obvious against Brock, by the way, that Taker couldn't win without resorting to cheating. I mean, am I right or wrong? He can't win without resorting to cheating. And it's just, when you think about that, man, it's like, okay, they're healing him out, but to what end? Maybe to this end. Maybe he shows up on the next Monday Night Raw and you expect him to cut a babyface promo where he's in Vince's face saying, "Who do you think you are? You can't just book me whenever you want to or tell me where to be. I'm the Undertaker," or whatever. And then he ends up siding with him. Would it be interesting to see a heel Undertaker just for one WrestleMania? Just to give Shane the rub and put him over? Is it that important to the McMahon family to be on top all the time? Because that led to another column that I wrote that was published on the Tuesday after this Raw. And that's the one, again, that I did on my own blog where I was a bit more cynical about this whole thing. And the headline of that particular column was Shane McMahon versus Undertaker. Yes, you read that right. And, I mean, I don't know how else to say it to you, man, because at first glance, you're like, what? But a lot of the thrust of that piece, if I can be honest with you, is the fact that the McMahons have to be in power. They have to be in charge on TV. They like to be on TV a lot. They like to be in the ring a lot. And they like to here's the part that's sticky for a lot of guys, man. Are they taking spots from other wrestlers? I don't know how I feel about that one. But it does seem like that they've taken a whole lot of mic time around a whole lot of spots in which a whole lot of matches could have happened. And they've also wrestled in a whole lot of matches that a whole lot of other guys could have wrestled in. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Do you see what I mean? So it's up to you how you feel about that. But it does from a distance really feel like that they have completely just took over and it's their show. It's like they have to keep reminding you that they're the ones in charge. Dude, I know that the payroll has McMahon as the last name. I get that. I don't need to be reminded. It reminds me of not to bag on Triple H, Remember when Triple H was the World Heavyweight Champion with Evolution? The World Heavyweight Champion with Evolution, and he was the number one heel in the company. And every promo he cut, he had to remind you that he was the top heel and the baddest man on the planet and the World Heavyweight Champion. Remember that? It's like every promo Cena's cut for the past 10 years when he reminds you that he never backs down, that he's the toughest guy in the locker room, that he's the first one there and the last one to leave and all that other stuff. So, I mean, you tell me, man. I mean, it's forced. Do you see what I'm saying? It's very contrived and it's very forced. And again, it's the McMahon's company. Not much you can do about that. I mean, their grandchildren, their next generation, which, you know, Shane talked about his kids on Raw. They're going to inherit this company, man. We're going to be watching their kids' kids if that company manages to stay in business, which I'm sure they probably will in some form or fashion. But it's always going to be the McMahon show. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I just want it to be switched up and be different, and be fresh, and be new as often as possible. That's all I'm asking for, man. That's all I want. So there's a lot of different ways you can look at this right now. A lot of different ways you can look at it. We're very early in the process. There's a lot of things that could or couldn't happen. So I'm anxious to see the build-up. What kind of build-up is there going to be? Because, dude, I thought the build-up to Fastlane was excellent. What else you got for me? We're going to leave Taker and Shane alone. We'll get back to that in another show. We'll be talking about them down the road, I'm sure. We got several weeks till Mania gets here, right? So we got more than one opportunity. Let's get to number 2. Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania. They ran the spot on Monday night in which Brock attacked Dean in the parking lot. It was very Four Horsemen against Lex Luger kind of thing back in the old days, right? But here's the thing with this. Brock versus Dean. Now, does Dean go over? I told you before that this was already a tough one, right? Predicting stuff this far in advance, I guess I should say. Here's the deal. Dean does not necessarily have to go over. I mean, he really doesn't. He doesn't necessarily have to go over in order to get over. You see what I mean? He can just have the best match of his life. You know what I'm thinking of? Here's what I'm looking for. And I don't know if Brock's character has it in him. Remember when Undertaker was full-blown heel? And he was, I think he was Big Evil at that time. And he worked Jeff Hardy in the ring, destroyed Jeff. Jeff kept getting back up, and he said, I told you, I'm not going to stay down. You can't destroy me. Taker helps him up. Instead of hitting him, he just pats him on the head as if to say, and shakes his head like, God, dude, how did you get back up? As a sign of respect. Taker didn't turn face from that. Right? He just walked away. So Brock could do that. Brock could give Dean everything he's got. And Dean gets back up from every F5 he gets him, okay? That he gives him. And then Brock just goes back in the ring, helps him up. And you think he's going to take his head off, and he just doesn't have to shake his hand. Maybe just, raises his arm or does something. I don't know. Does something for the guy. But this could get Dean over like nobody's business. I like this match. I don't know if I love this match. Because part of me really wants Dean to win, if I can be honest with you. I don't think he needs to win. But I think this will be the biggest night of Dean's career to this point. He's earned this. He deserves this. He's jumped through hoops for that company. He's done everything I've asked of him. He was told to come in with the Shield to an audience of fans and a cast of characters that really didn't know who they were at that point. I mean, not as the Shield, of course. And told, hey, get over. And he did. And he took it and ran with it. The Brotherhood was established, and he got, the Lunatic Fringe thing happened when they split up, and the face turn. He did everything. He's done silly stuff, and they've had him do silly stuff, and, remember the hot dog cart and all that nonsense? He drove to the arena in like as if he'd stolen the ambulance. And it was the goofiest, dude, if you go watch it back, tell me it wasn't the dumbest thing you've ever seen. Truth. But he got a pop for that. When he hit that ramp, they were chanting his name. Fans ate that up. The only thing that matters is it working? Is it working? Is it getting over? Dude, Dean is over, man. I'm not saying he's over like Seth was when Seth was champ. Dean's pretty over right now. So this is going to be extremely good for him. Dean's stock is rising as we speak. His star is rising as we speak. This is a very big deal, man. It's a big deal for him. It's a big deal for that company because that company needs another main event star. Straight up, they need another top guy, and Dean's that top guy. He should be that top guy. I just imagine a time when Seth is back healthy, Dean's a top guy, and Roman's the world champion. I mean, because, dude, there's your drama. Seth could come back babyface. You never know what could happen. I mean, anything in the world could happen with this, man. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's going to be a very exciting time for fans. It's going to be a very exciting time for writers like myself who like to delve into this stuff and really go into it. I mean, dude, it's going to be great. Again, we're going to be talking about this for weeks to come, man. So get ready for that. Ambrose versus Lesnar. Who would have thought it? It's the most plausible match coming out of Fastlane, and really, it's the match, again, that Dean deserves. So good on him for getting this match and all that stuff happening for him. I think it's awesome. Roman versus Triple H at WrestleMania. If you saw the spot, and I assume you did, at the end of the show on Raw this past Monday night, on the 22nd, then you know for yourself that there was a whole lot of color involved. Now, there are conflicting reports of what exactly happened. If you look at the straight ahead camera angle that happened on Monday Night Raw, it looks as if Roman was busted open. But if you look at a different camera angle, in other words, a fan in the front row, it does look like Byron Saxton is handing Roman something at the commentator's table. Roman uses it, puts it back. Now, it looks like he's juicing. If I had to guess, I would say he cut too deep, if I'm being honest with you, because, man, he was gushing. And, I mean, he was gushing within seconds. This wasn't minutes. This wasn't Ric Flair. He slowly got color until he bled to death. This was, the second his head was lifted off that table, he was gushing like a horror movie. Some doofuses out there have mentioned the word blood capsule. I hope those doofuses are incorrect, because I hate the term. I hate the idea. I hate the whole notion of the blood capsule. I was on the local independent scene here in the Carolinas. I never saw one blood capsule used. I never heard a guy even talking about it. Dude, when I saw guys get color, they were getting color, man. They were breaking off a corner of that razor blade, man. They would tuck it, like wrap it up in their wristband, or wrap it up if they tape their fingers, or in their waistband, or, in a glove, or in a knee pad sometimes. And, man, they'd pop that thing out, juice themselves, cut themselves, start juicing like crazy, take the edge of the blade, or take that blade, shove it down to the mat. And that's where they left it. And I saw it a whole bunch. And that was a real deal. It's real life, man. I never saw one blood capsule, never heard one guy. And I was around guys in the business 30 plus years. And I was around NWA legends. Never heard one guy ever talk about a blood capsule. Not one time. So, having said that, if they used it, does it ruin my day? No. It kind of takes away the effect of it, if I'm being honest with you. Because, man, blood does still get an effect. It still makes an impact. It's crazy that Vince signed off on it, which makes you think Vince doesn't sign off on juicing. So maybe it wasn't real. This is pro wrestling, man. Everything's a work, yes? That's kind of how that works, right? All right, man. So listen, there's your WrestleMania buzz. You got 3 huge matches right there. There's other stuff going around. John Cena's working out like a hoss to wrestle somebody. I don't know who it's going to be, man. Because the top players are sucked up right now, so I don't know who he's got left. Vince? Dude, I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff at you. Who knows? But John Cena's training like crazy. I mean, like he's trying to, trying to lift AT&T Stadium. I don't know, dude. Maybe he can when it's all said and done. But there's something going on there. Go check his Twitter, man. He's pumping the iron. Okay? And then there's rumors about Batista was pitched an idea. He said no. The Rock is still hosting this thing. What's he going to do? He's probably going to be the ref in Hunter and Shane's, or excuse me, he could be the ref. Yeah, there you go. He could be the ref in Shane Undertaker's match. Shane could, get a special guest referee, and it's The Rock. Or The Rock could be the ref in Hunter and Roman's match, which actually makes a lot more sense. Family unit, Roman, XYZ, all the other stuff. Makes a lot of sense. So there's The Rock sitting there. There's rumors about Goldberg, but Goldberg hasn't been approached. I mean, dude, there's top guys outside the company. Who knows? They really wanted Shawn Michaels to be a part of it. WrestleMania 32 is in Texas, Shawn's home state, and all that good stuff. Mark Henry's a Texas boy. I'd love to see Mark Henry there in some capacity. I'm not joking about that. Shut up. I'd like to see him on the card in a good spot, too. New Day should have a great showing, whoever they've got him against. Going to be interesting to see who that is. The Dudley Boys healing out feels like there should be a face tag team coming up. Am I crazy? Enzo and Cass, maybe? That'd be interesting, right? That'd be awesome. Enzo and Cass come out and interrupt the Dudley Boys. Oh, my God, dude. Allow me to introduce myself. Oh, that's great stuff, man. I think that'd be awesome. WrestleMania, man, isn't it fun? Don't you have cold chills? This is fun stuff, man. I like talking about big events. Dude, I'm smiling right now. I'm a pro wrestling fan, brother. That's who I am. I love this stuff. And just as much as I'm a comic book nerd, I've always been a pro wrestling nerd. I always will be, man, to the death. That's how it is, brother. That's how I roll. I love this stuff. I hope you love it too. Hope you love this show. I tried to warn you it was going to be a short one. I didn't have a lot of time, man. This has been the abbreviated edition of Tom Clark's Main Event, as if you didn't know. Okay? But we're going to go ahead and give some shout-outs here right quick. If we may, then we're going to take this sucker home, all right? As we said, this was episode number 46 of the podcast here. If you'd like to find more of yours truly, please feel free to check out my blog, tomclarkbr.wix.com/blog. You can find me on Bleacher Report. Just put my name in the search box and I shall appear for you. You can also find me on the highly esteemed Camel Clutch blog. That's where my writing usually hangs out, or those three locations. You can also find my work on our production company's website. This is Boink. It's Boink Studios. It's actually tomclarkbr.wix.com/boink. That's the Boink Studios website, the production company owned by myself and great friend Kyle Smith. Everything there, all the artwork you see there is courtesy of Mr. Smith himself. All the writing there is 100% ours. It's all of our original work. That is my writing. Thank you very much. As I said, I'm a comic book nerd. Please feel free to go check it out. Please find us on Facebook, Boink Studios on Facebook. Please click the like button and share that stuff. And the cookies are being sent out as we speak. They're actually quite delicious. So thanks for following through on that. We do appreciate it. Feel free to please drop us a line anytime you'd like. BoinkStudios@yahoo.com. Or if you'd like to talk to me directly, Boink Studios, outside of Boink Studios, I should say, just drop me a line, TomClarkBR@yahoo.com. You can also find us on the Twitter machine. You can find me at TomClarkBR. You can also find Kyle at KyleDJ and of course at Boink Studios on Twitter. My God, wasn't that a whole lot of stuff? So there you go, folks. There you have it. That is episode number 46 in the can. Thank you for listening as always. We're going to be back with episode number 47 real soon. We are quickly approaching episode number 50, man. I'm so happy about that. Thank you so much, guys, for the downloads. Thanks for the emails. Thanks for the fan support, dude. I and all the guys here at Boink Studios, we really do appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for being there for us. Please come back next time for Tom Clark's Main Event.